Okay, so I left off last. I didn't have these trees in there, but I just used the paintbrush tool. Super simple, filled them in with black, and then created a white stroke around them. And I created some kind of bush shapes, same way. I think I grouped them together, so using the group or ungroup here, you can, within the properties panel, you can easily do that. So what I was thinking, instead of putting the Devlin trail here, I can actually maybe just make this inside of a circle shape, and then add in some stripes off to the side and have Devlin trail within a stripe or two. So I'm just going to grab a circle, push shift to try and get, a perfect circle going. Switch the fill color into the stroke color using this little arrow, and get rid of the fill color altogether with the apply none button. So I have a little stroke here, and then we can try and kind of center this as best we can within, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. It's a little too big. Maybe just try and center it in there as best I can. Something like that, maybe. So one thing I'm going to have to do maybe is just potentially either just, no, I don't like that. We can extend this. Oops, I'm on white. Command Z. We want to switch that in so that the stroke on the paintbrush tool is black. And we'll just kind of fill this in with the paintbrush tool, which actually is kind of time consuming sometimes. Kind of a clunky way of doing it, but it works okay. Okay, so once we get this kind of filled in the way we want it to be, that looks pretty okay. And, the pen tool is another option, which would actually be faster, honestly, than using the paintbrush tool. But object, path, outline stroke, so that turns that stroke into an actual shape that can be filled in. And then we just want to join it or unite it with the Pathfinder with the other shape. And something like that. And then I'm going to actually use the smooth tool and just kind of smooth out this rough edge right here, making sure it's selected so you can see the anchor points when you use the smooth tool. And then now we can move on. I think I want to make a shape here that will fill in with a color, make a shape here that'll fill in with a color, and then have the rest of the sky fill in. So I'm probably going to have to extend, using the paintbrush tool, extend this a little bit, something like that. Clicking on that, click on this, make object, path, outline stroke, and then shift to get everything selected, and then use the unite button to unite everything. And then this is kind of not the best join up here, so I'm going to kind of smooth this out if I can, as best I can. I might even delete some of these anchor points to try and get it to just look a little bit better. Something like that, maybe. Okay, so we've got a good start there. Here this is, we can arrange this, bring it to front. I don't really know if it necessarily needs to be on front, but and then if we click and drag these two things, basically this and the circle is all I need, not the extra little shapes at all, for now anyway. And then we can use the shape builder once again, so click on that, and then just I want you to create this shape, and so it'll be this whole shape in here. You can really see it. So if I click there, it made that shape. If I click here, it made that shape. And if I click here, it did make that shape. So I think if I go in here, oops, Command Z, all of these will be different shapes now, which is great. This is a little too big. I need to cut that off. So we can, select both of these things that we're working with by clicking and dragging over them with the white arrow tool or the black arrow tool. And then go into here, get on the shape builder, and then do option to subtract. So I'm going to cut that off. And I think I'll use this magnifying glass. You can click and drag that. Shape builder once again, option, and delete that. So Command 0. So I have this shape here. I can fill it in black, but I don't want it to be black. I think I want it to probably be like a blue color. I'm just kind of using preloaded swatches right now. I need to go to click on this with this and then do arrange, send to back, so it's behind everything. It's looking all right. And I have another little area that I need to delete, so click and drag and use the shape builder tool, push option to delete some of this extra stuff. Oops, got a few little issues here. Looks like maybe I didn't do something with, got like little circles here for some reason, I'm not sure why. Probably left over from when I was making the extension. I can clean that up later, but and then I can click on this shape. Maybe I may want to make that like, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to mess around with these colors because this isn't looking good, but you know, just putting different colors in there for now. But I will get the color scheme dialed in and then probably add a white stroke to everything because I was really liking kind of the way that that looked. So the rest of the illustration has that in there. And then once I do that, I'll kind of continue on with the creation here. Okay, so I think I've got, you know, a color scheme that's working. I don't have too many colors. They're not all super bright. So I think that this is going to work okay. And then I kind of wanted to create like a border around this as well of black. So I'm just going to apply none to the stroke, to the inner fill color, and then the stroke color, I just want it to be black. And then the stroke should maybe be like at least 4 points, because that's what I used on a lot of the other strokes within the illustration. We just want to line that up. I get a little bit bigger, but we're really close to the size I need there. Something like that. So I was going to do this, and then I might have to move this over just a smidge, but, and then I will put in a few stripes off to the side and then put Devlin Trail. So it's going to be sort of like a logo mark almost. So I'm just going to do that here real quick. I'm probably just going to use like the rectangle tools to add those in. Okay, so I added in those stripes that I was wanting. And then I'm going to save this file, save as. Probably should have saved it a while ago, honestly, but documents. Let's put that in our Electronic Design 1 folder, Snapchat Geofilter folder. So make new folders if you don't have them. I'll just label this illustration. Maybe Geofilter illustration Devlin Trail. Sometimes I put the year on the end or the size or something on the end with a underscore. AI file, save that, okay. And then file, export as, I want a PNG. I'm going to use artboards, so make sure you do that when you export out. Export, I'll make it 150, transparent background, okay. And then I can actually bring that into Photoshop. I'm actually going to use the Photoshop. Like I said earlier, I like Photoshop as far as using the templates in Photoshop. So we can actually just make a new layer under, we're going to put it in sample filters. So new layer underneath sample filters. We can actually delete all these other filters by clicking and dragging them onto the trash can. So I'm just going to do that real quick. And then in this new layer, I can name this Devlin Trail. And then I can do a file, place embedded, and go to my folder with the PNG file that I just exported out of Illustrator, place that in, and here it is. So I can tell right now that I should have made these a little bit longer, the stripes, so I'm going to have to do that. And I should have put Devlin Trail on there somewhere within the stripe. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but let's just pretend I already have that in there. I made the stripes all the way, long enough to bring in here, which basically just means I'd have to go in here, probably just grab everything, group it together using the properties panel, come over here to the free transform tool, push shift, and then just bring everything down in size from the corner, and then zoom in. I guess I'll just do it really quick. And Command Z that. So Devlin Trail. And then I'll find a font that I like. So I went ahead and kind of fixed it. I'm back in Photoshop. I did a file, place embedded, and now I'm just going to bring it up in size to where that comes off to the edge there. And then with the buffers, we want to look at the buffers and make sure we're not covering up any important text or anything. And it's just going to be super simple. I can even move it down just a little bit, but I don't want my text within the buffer zone. And you don't want to cover up too much of your image with your artwork either. So remember to turn the buffers off when you're done using those. And you can actually bring in every single filter in here. So this is my filter layer that I made. And then there's this background. You want to turn that off too, obviously, when you go to export this. So File, Save As, and we want to do a potentially Photoshop document. What I'm really wanting, if you made it in Illustrator, I want the AI file for grade, and then I want the PNG file that you export out either out of Illustrator or Photoshop. But I want you to have it to the right size, which is like 1080 by, I can't remember, image size. So it should be 1080 pixels by 2340 pixels. So it needs to be sized to that. So File, Export, or Save As, and this is where we make the PNG file. I want this to go into my correct folder. So I'm going to save that in there, push that. So this is different than the PNG file I exported out of Illustrator. So let's go into that folder within our documents. And you can see this is the PNG file that I exported out of Photoshop. And then this is the one that I exported out of Illustrator. So we don't want that one, or this one. Oh, that's the AI file. So what I want you to submit is the AI file or the PSD, depending on what you built it in. Whatever native program you built this in, I want either the PSD, which would be Photoshop, or the AI file with all the layers included. And then I want the PNG file that you're actually going to be submitting to Snapchat for a, and that's what I want for a grade. So it needs to be the correct size. I don't want the buffers on, and I don't want a background image to still be in there. So if we do that, that is going to work really well. So you'll have to submit this to Snapchat for part of your grade, and they will send you an email to your inbox, and I want you to just take a screenshot. So Command-Shift-4 on a Mac, and just take a screenshot of the emails that Snapchat sends to you after you submit your 3 different designs. So you should have 3 screenshots plus the native file for your artwork and the .png file, the PNG file with the transparent background that is the correct size that you actually submitted to Snapchat for a grade. So it's kind of complicated, but read this project worksheet if you have any questions.